our game with fantasygaelicfootball.com. Register your team now and win up to €2,300 in prizes, including €800 for the first prize.
Today, just a couple of quick ones on the training breach before. How do you look back? How do you reflect on that? Was that a mistake?
Yeah, look, absolutely. It was certainly a regrettable incident and something that we deeply regret and are obviously very apologetic about it. And look, we've learned a lot of lessons from it, and that's the thing. Look, it was a mistake that we have acknowledged and accepted, and taken the lessons from it, and just learn from it and move on and look forward to the season ahead. That's pretty much where we're at with it at the moment.
Did you misjudge the mood, Dean? Because obviously the mantra is we're all in this together, and then we see pictures of footballers training. Did you maybe misjudge the mood there a little bit?
Yeah, look, as I said, it was certainly a regrettable decision. In hindsight, it never would have happened. And yeah, look, it was something that I know an apology was issued at the time, and I'd like to follow up without another apology, really, just to apologise for what we did. And as I said, on hindsight, it would never have happened, and we take the lessons from it and we move on. And sometimes you kind of, as an intercounty football, you think maybe that playing intercounty football is be all and end all, but I think a big lesson for us is that there's far more important things in life than sport and Gaelic football. So that's something that for me personally I've taken from the whole debacle, and just move on and look forward to hopefully a good summer of football.
Good stuff. Thank you and best of luck.
No worries. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Hi, Dane. Brian Barry here from Sky Sports. How are things?
Good, Brian. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Just a quick follow-up on that. Just around the elite status of GA players, and obviously it was lost there for a few months. Do you think the GA did enough to hold on to it, or?
Yeah, look, I think the GA have done incredible work over the last last year in terms of the whole COVID situation. So look, I think it was incredible the amount of work that they put into it. So look, as I said, it was just it was one of them things that that never should have happened from a training perspective. And look, we're just thankful now that we're back training as a group together and looking out into Parnell Park here now at the minute, and the pitch looks great and sun is shining. So that's the big focus for us now, is just getting back onto the pitch, training together as a group, which has been brilliant over the last couple of weeks, and just look forward to a National League game now this weekend.
Yeah, just to clarify, were there different groups of 9 people training throughout the few weeks, or was it just one incident?
Well, look, as I said, I think the investigation was made by the GA and the relevant authorities, so that they were happy with the investigation. There's no point me going into it now, but that they released their report and stuff like that, or they have the report done, investigation done. So that's not for me to comment on.
Right, thanks.
Hi, Dean. Kevin O'Brien here from the 42. How are things?
Kev, good man. How are you?
Glad. Just on the players who attended that session, I mean, their names put out there and their photos were in the media spotlight. Was it difficult for them? I'm sure they were getting grief from all quarters after it came out. Like, what was it like for them to go through that?
Yeah, look. I suppose not like all the success we've had. It's always been down to the group. So it just wasn't just on the individuals in hand. It was the whole collective. And look, as I said, it was a regrettable decision that we all were disappointed that it happened. And as I said, the lads who were there and the lads that the whole squad took huge lessons from it, and that's it. We just trying to use the lessons in a positive, learn from it, and move on. So that's pretty much it. Now,
just on Desi, obviously he'll be missing out for a couple of weeks, even leading into the championship. That's I'm sure it's a big test for you, as a squad and even as a management team to deal with that. How much of a loss will he be now over the next while?
Yeah, look, of course, it's strange not having Desi there, because he's obviously a big personality and a great person to have around the group. But look, Mick Galvin will obviously be there now and take charge of the team for the National League in the foreseeable future. And he's ably assisted by Darren Daly and Brian O'Regan and Shane O'Hanlon, and the players as well that take a huge amount of ownership and responsibility around how the team train and perform. So look, it's obviously disappointing not to have Desi there, but Mick and the lads and the players themselves will take huge ownership and responsibility and drive the thing on over the next couple of weeks.
like obviously Paul Manning stepped away this year. Jack did last year. Michael Macaulay and Paddy Andrews retired as well. So plenty of new faces, I'm sure, in the squad. What's the dynamic been like over the last while since you came back training? Like,
yeah, no, it's been brilliant. It's been great to see so many kind of new faces and guys that I obviously would never have played with, and due to the age gap and stuff like that. So it just goes to show that the talent coming through in Dublin is still coming through, and there's huge competition for places. And I think that's the big thing. That's what keeps you on your toes. And yeah, obviously the lads have stepped away after having incredible careers, and just have want to explore different things in their life now, which is understandable and perfectly fine. So, and that just opens up a door and an opportunity for younger guys who are champing at the bit, really, to get onto the National League squad and get onto the bench, and then hopefully fight for a jersey come championship. So, yeah, no, it's been hugely positive since we've been back over the last 3 weeks now.
cheers, Dean.
No worries, thanks, Kit.
How are you,
Hey,
Dean?
Dean. It's Rob Hartnett here from Sport for Business.
Good.
You walked away from Stewart's earlier on this year, moving into the financial services world. Is it something that you miss, and is that something that might be teeing up your own thoughts on where your future might lie with Dublin?
Yeah, well, look, that's it. Look, I think you get to a certain stage in your career where you have to be kind of looking towards the future as well. Look, at incredible years in Stewart's care. Working with people with intellectual disabilities there for 7-8 years, so it was a massive part of my life, and something that I took a lot of valuable life lessons from, and carry forward them in my day-to-day life now as well. So, but yeah, no, I've moved into a new role. Paddy Andrews is now my boss as such in the Dublin office in Metis, Ireland. So it's it's a new life. I'm trying to juggle exams at the moment now. We're coming back playing football, so I'm doing my QFAs at the moment. So with 4 down, 2 to go. So trying to get them all in 6 months, which might be slightly ambitious, but it's probably just the competitive nature in me just to try and get them done. But yeah, look, it's been a nice new start to a new role. I'm looking forward to the future.
Thanks.
Cheers, Mark.
How are you, Dean? James McMahon here in RG. The prospect of playing behind closed doors again when the days are brighter, how are you looking? Are you looking forward to that? Are you hoping to God we'll at least get to play before some human beings before the summer is out?
I'm hoping to God that we get to play in front of some human beings before the end of the summer. Yeah, look, I think there was some positive news yesterday or the day before, and potentially having crowds come the end of the summer, which would be incredible. Look, I'd be lying to you to say if it wasn't the same experience last year. Obviously, playing an All-Ireland final in front of an empty stadium, it was really difficult. It was surreal, and it was novel for 1 year, and it was fine for 1 year. But obviously, you want to get back to playing in front of crowds as quickly as possible. Look, the GAA is an organisation which involves everybody, and spectators and supporters are a huge part of that. And to be able to play this year in the summer with some level of spectators or some percentage of spectators in stadiums will be incredible for players, because I'm speaking for myself. I know a lot of the lads have missed playing in front of crowds, and missed the buzz of running into Croke Park on an All-Ireland final day, or even the parade. Just the little things that you miss without a crowd. So please God, now the next couple of months we will have something.
Okay. Cheers, Steve. Thanks.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, Dean.
Dean, I might just jump in again there. Kerry in a few weeks down in Thurles. You haven't played them in a while. Obviously, they had that early exit last year, but obviously from the game 20 years ago as well, it's Thurles fairly iconic venue to lock horns again.
Yeah, no, I think it's you certainly over the lockdown and stuff, you would have seen those games in the Thurles games on the old whether it was TG Car or Air Sport and stuff like that. And I remember going down to Thurles and stuff for those games as a kid, and it was incredible, really. I think they've got a GA clubhouse next to it or something. We might have went in for soup and sandwiches or something with Dad before the game or something. But yeah, that was incredible. The only bad thing about that trip back then was the traffic and the journey getting in and getting out of the place. And I think it might have taken fucking 6 or 7 hours round trip to get into Thurles that time. But yeah, look, it's just a pity you won't be playing in front of spectators. That's the big thing, because the Dublin supporters love travelling and going on the road. But yeah, look, I think it's nearly 18 months probably since we've played Kerry, maybe the National League in January 2020. So yeah, look, that game will come around when it comes around. Obviously, Roscommon first, and see how that goes, and then obviously look forward to a game against Kerry then in the Semple Stadium in 2 weeks.
How are you approaching the league? I know it's kind of some bit of a short run in. We saw the hurling over the weekend, and some aspects of it were a bit rusty. But how are you approaching the league? Is it just all about peaking for championship, or?
Yeah, no, look, I think like every year we take the league very seriously. It's a competition that you obviously want to go well in and play some really good football in it as well. So that'll certainly be our objective to go out and perform and to play as best as we possibly can. And yes, if lads get game time and new guys get game time as well, that will be obviously important. But yeah, the objective will always be to go out and perform and play well and see how far we can go in the competition.
Does it sour it any bit that there's a chance there'll be joint winners announced or anything like that? There might not be a final, or?
No, I don't think so. Look, I think every team is quite competitive, and look, what ends up happening at the end ends up happening. But when the whistle blown for that first game, lads will be going out to win, and the same for the second and third game of the league. So we'll just see what happens along the journey.
Yeah, you mentioned there a few minutes ago just about young players coming into the squad. Which new players have joined the squad this year?
Well, there's quite a few. You might see a few over the next couple of weekends, so you'll be able to answer that question yourself. But yeah, there's a few local lads who would have been there in the 20s over the last few years, and obviously Desi and the lads have been through a lot of the club games over the last number of years. So I'm sure there's plenty of lads who've stood out that you've seen that you won't be surprised to see over the next couple of weeks.
Cheers, Dean.
I mean, last year it was clear the freshness that you had, with the break. You feel again the gap, the long break you had with suit you and that freshness again.
Sorry, Kev, I couldn't really hear you there. Sorry.
Sorry. Just to talk about the freshness that you've had now since the last game you played. It obviously helped you last year coming into the All Ireland. Do you think that will help you again?
Yeah, look, I think freshness for any sports people, I think sports person is vital and crucial, and yeah, particularly I think as I said last year was great having the club first and to really get a good go with the club and then come back really fresh from a mindset perspective with Dublin was brilliant. So yeah, look, I think lads are chomping at the bit there. There's been good buzz around training the first couple of weeks, and lads are really looking forward to the Roscommon game. So yeah, and I think the big thing as well is that you've got inter-county football in the summertime this year. It's not we've no floodlights, there's no wet ground or windy conditions. So I think that's usually I think that kind of freshened your mind as well. So that's something really to look forward to. So hopefully we'll have a long and successful summer. Cheers.
Dean, how are you doing? Shane Stapleton here.
Shane, good. How are you, man?
Not too bad. Have you had a chance to get your medals yet from last year?
No, we haven't, and yeah, I'm not too sure when that's sort of planned or whatever. But no, we haven't got our medals. Well, not that I know of, unless my mum has them, and she hasn't shown me. She has them all at this stage, anyway. So I haven't really seen too many of them. But yeah, not that I know of, anyway, not yet.
Yeah. So, did it feel was it an odd championship for you to play in last year, or when you're actually out on the field, does it even bother you that there's not a crowd? Do you notice it?
Look, of course you notice there's no crowd, but I still think it was an All Ireland that was there to be won, and thankfully we did. It totally was a surreal experience. There probably wasn't as much of a build up to the games as there usually would be in terms of even just meeting people on the street and stuff like that, or meeting people in cafes or restaurants before games, because they weren't really open, and people were probably at home more so than before. So yeah, it was a totally different experience. Yes, it was a terrific All Ireland win, but obviously post game celebrations weren't as big as they usually are and stuff like that. So it does take away from it slightly, but it probably was a nice one to kind of celebrate just together as a group, as opposed to with everyone else around the place. But yeah, no, the big thing is just the crowds, and hopefully we get those crowds back. I think that's a massive part of it.
You're obviously one of the most experienced players on the panel at this stage, and you've been there a few years, and you mentioned some of the players that have left, like Paddy Andrews, Michael Darragh, Macaulay Broken, all those sort of players. Do you notice now when young lads are coming in, there's a bit of a generation gap, that you notice that they're interested in stuff that you're not, and it's, that you are feeling a little bit older given what the younger lads might be into?
Yeah, no, I'm going to download TikTok, I think, now, and try to get used to that. But yeah, no, there is. I mean, I'm 31 now, and it just goes by so fast, your career. Like, you know, I was first on the Dublin panel, but when I was 19 in 2009, like, so it's whatever, 12 years, so it's a long time. But yeah, no, certainly the younger guys come up, they either make you feel a little bit older, I suppose, with their with different things. But look, it's great. It's great to see new guys, new blood coming in, and I think that kind of keeps you a bit young and relevant at the same time as well. So yeah, no, look, it's certainly yeah, the years are going on, but it's still as enjoyable as ever.
So, like in previous years, once you hit 30, 31, people do start talking about retirement and ask those questions. But do you feel modern S&C that players can go into their mid-30s? A lot of Dublin players in recent years have done that.
Yeah, look, I see no reason why not. I think it's all about just discipline around your habits and your own lifestyle. I think you know, you can see it in all different sports around the world. There's loads of examples of people that can do it. It's just trying to juggle everything from a work perspective. Obviously, we're amateur athletes, so you know, it's trying to combine the work element, and look, then it comes down to a bit of luck if you're fortunate enough with injuries, which thankfully I have been over the last number of years. So hopefully that continues. You look after yourself, and who knows? Yeah, but look, I think you just take 1 year at a time and see how it goes. But that certainly would be my objective, to play for as long as I possibly can, and physically I feel really good. So let's see.
Our game with fantasygaelicfootball.com. Register your team now and win up to €2,300 in prizes, including €800 for the first prize.